finish up the seventh parak of the first shar in Sefer Nefesh HaChaim. This is Rabbi Shlomo first here. I'm temporarily substituting for Rabbi Reuben David, who's taking care of important things for the Yeshiva. The last small paragraph in Parak Zion, that's on page Tet, the opinion.
Who inyan ha'karuv vim shahayu urim ma'ad ish lo else. That was Moroccan. Okay.
The Kruvim is referring to the Kruvim.
Those are the angels, right?
Yes, and practically on the Aaron, on the Parachas, that's the Kruvim there. Now, what does it say?
Shahayu urim. What's urim? Ish. I know they were facing each other.
Yes.
That's what it means.
That's right. They were facing each other.
Urim is facing?
Yeah, they're trying to give a certain continence to another person. They're going to give him funny mirot. Right? That's a bright face, a bright face. So the Mara'ish, it's a form of a person.
Maybe it's the glacial world. The Kerubim are cherubs. Is that a picture of it, or this is the glacier artists coming up with the Kerubim?
I'm not sure.
Because we know when Moshe Rabbeinu Karnei Or, when Da Vinci, I think it was Da Vinci, made a picture of Moshe Rabbeinu, Karnei Or to him were horns of light. It wasn't radiance, and from that, Jews in the States, I don't know if it's in England, they were called greenhorns.
Not only that, I had a child in my class, teaching it, I had a child in my class, 7 years old, and just a very innocent question. Just kept asking me, why don't you have horns? Honestly, they honestly believe. This is now.
My son was blessed of Daniel when he was down in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, and they saw him and he lived in the Holy Land. They were very impressed, and they said, "You don't have horns." The Zelbazach. For some reason, they thought, "Is that a shvach or not?"
That we don't have horns.
They think we have, but we don't have. I don't know.
Would be useful, maybe.
What can I say?
What?
I don't know what to say about it. Does Snoopy have a black nose? Okay.
There's a here.
Pinehim.
Muvei Shalomo Kisiv. So what is that?
Because it says here, you have a pasuk in Shmos which says Pinehim Ish El Achiv. The faces of the Kruvim were faced each one to his brother, meaning each Kruv was facing the other. And in the other pasuk which says in Divrei Yomim, that says by Shlomo, it says Pinehim L'Bayis. It says their faces were to the Bayis, meaning they were facing away from each other. Kemosh Yizbar Bezu Shem. It's going to be explained. This is something which is going to be explained. So we have to. So how can it be? How can it be that one pasuk says the Kruvim were facing each other, and another pasuk says they were facing opposite from other? They're golden, and it's supposed to be one golden plate.
Maybe.
Remember the construction of the Kruvim? There was one golden plate that would be hammered out and remain unified. Right? It wasn't something
similar to the menorah.
Yeah. That's right.
Was there a quantity of gold which caused Moshe Rabbeinu problems? He couldn't get the menorah begun from that 1 kilo of talent of gold.
Yeah.
Was the same thing with the Kruvim?
I'm not sure if he had problems with the.
Yeah, there's no place that says that Hashem had to tell Moshe Rabbeinu and Tsama how to do the Kruvim.
Yeah. So here you have one pasuk describing them facing each other, another pasuk describing them facing away. How can that be? It's solid gold.
Maybe different stages.
Where is the solution? What's the right solution?
Maybe different stages in the Kerubim's participation in the Mishkan.
I mean, it could answer. One was in the Midbar, one was by Moshe Rabbeinu, and one was by Shlomo Melech. That it was on the Bias Rishon. So maybe it was not the same Aaron as Moshe Rabbeinu had. Not likely. Not likely.
Maybe the Kruvim in the Midbar had a different tafkid, a different job. When they came to they settled in the Midbar. They were looking at each other, but once they got into the Beis HaMikdash, they settled down and they had a worldly view. They're looking outwardly.
Yeah, it's like the Havdil. It's like saying the Lincoln Memorial. He's sitting with his legs crossed. You know, where do you get that from? He's going like this with his hands. You know, he's smoking a pipe. Lincoln Memorial. He's smoking a pipe. How'd you get that?
It depends where you come from.
Well, it's solid granite. This doesn't change overnight.
You came from Illinois, you had one view, and if you came from down south, you had a different.
No, but in Washington D.C. in Arlington Cemetery, where do you he's smoking? Now he's smoking a pipe. Yesterday he wasn't smoking a pipe. How's Lincoln smoking a pipe today? You know, you heard about President Lincoln? He got shot in the head, but it doesn't show that in the statue.
Well, why would we want to have a shlili, a negative view of him?
I know, but it's shlili. I mean,
you want reality? You want
reality?
Yeah. You want visual stuff? Come on, that's what there is. When the time of Lincoln, we can have all those visuals.
At what age, the statue that depicts Lincoln, at what age was that statue depicted of him?
When was the Lincoln memorial? Probably 100 years ago.
There's even a typo error in the granite, you know that? They made a spelling mistake.
That's the word
Americans.
Yeah, that's right. So how can you, so
we can take away the sanctity and the reverence we have for Abraham Lincoln with a lot of good things.
So let's go to Mount Rushmore. So let's go to Mount Rushmore. Who's over there? Teddy Roosevelt, right? Right. You have Washington, Jefferson. How we got Jefferson, Washington, Lincoln, and Roosevelt. What's Roosevelt have to do with them? I don't know, but he was the one who paid for it, so he got his face on the mountain.
He was engraved in the mountain.
Right.
Was it a perfect description? Was it 100% realistic? I don't think it really matters.
But they're all facing west. I think they're all facing west, right? Is that true? Anyone know which direction they're facing? You're an American. How can you not know that?
That was one of the few places I haven't been. I hope maybe.
They're facing towards the Hollywood cameras.
But let's say you read in the Wall Street Journal tomorrow that they're now facing east. Mount Rushmore, they're all facing east. How could that be?
Well, in Hawaii there's a volcano that's been erupting and spewing lava for the past 30 days, and people had to evacuate. So you see, the land can change.
Right.
Hashem wants to
So, I think...
Yes, Ferdinand. You have the solution. No.
Of course.
All right.
What does Nafshi know about?
That's a roll.
Right.
What does Nafshi know about America?
Maybe, perhaps it's that the purpose of the Keruvim seems to be. There might be many purposes, I don't know, but one of the purposes that seems to be popularly known is that when Klal Yisrael is Yachad, they're facing each other. When Klal Yisrael is at odds with each other, the Keruvim are facing away from each other. So it's Hashem's signal to show us how we're getting along. So even though they're made of one piece of gold, like we're all made from one piece of gold, Hashem, made from Hashem, all of us, we still can face each other, we can still face away from each other. Although we're not sort of physically connected, but still we can do this. So this is a ness. So if Hashem wants to show, He can make the Keruvim facing each other with their wings touching each other, embracing, and Hashem can show. He can turn them around the other way if He wants to show us if it's necessary that we're not doing the right thing. So by trying to compare the Keruvim with the various statues around here, I think that's going off the track completely, because those statues are one thing. These are different, different world altogether. There's no comparison. I think you're completely off track when you're doing those comparisons.
Well, let's put it this way.
In the midbar, which way were the Kruvim facing?
Depends. First of all, who knew this? Whoever went into the Kodesh Kodashim? Once a year. You can go there for lunch.
Let's try to figure it out. In the midbar, it was more achdus, so the Kruvim were facing each other.
What's achdus? Love,
unity.
unity.
And in the base of Mikdash, they were separate, facing out.
Different times.
You could make different svaras for each.
So again, how did it work? When was it? When was it? What? It was when it was in the midbar. They were
unified.
Yes.
Okay.
That's when they were. That's the pasuk in Shmos says they were facing each other in Shmos.
But they weren't always unified.
And then it was saying, and the base of Mikdash of Shlomo, they were not as unified, and they were facing out.
That's what it's supposed to say.
Is that the theory from Pesukim?
Perhaps. I mean, again, we're giving very little information over here. There is a Gemara you should know. Gemara says that at the time of the Chorban,
They're facing.
they were facing each other. Right? That the enemies came into when they ransacked and destroyed the base of Mikdash, they took out everything that. Although I don't know, it's. I have to understand that Gemara because, if I'm not mistaken, also one of the things that was put in Geniza was the Aron.
Right.
So I'm not sure how they got to see the Kruvim.
Geniza was the theory was it was buried underneath the base of Mikdash.
Oh yeah, somewhere.
Somewhere, and then there's a theory that it was all taken to Rome and it's buried underneath the Vatican.
Somewhere.
So I'm not sure which is correct.
No, Rome would be the second bias. That's not the difficulty. The first bias they were put in Geniza. First bias was put in Geniza. The second bias, when they had replicas and they replaced the Kedim of the first base of Mikdash with the second base of Mikdash, and then Rome destroyed one that's on the second bias, and they took everything that wasn't destroyed or looted. Otherwise, they took everything that they could to Rome. That was the second bias. So that's not necessarily.
And Titus has an arch over there with stones, and he and the Roman Empire is kaput, and we're still there. So you see how Hashem runs things.
The last few words here says that, as will be explained,
No, so that's just you want to tell us to get going in the port way. Okay, so we got to get going.
We want to see if we learn something, we figure it out.
Yeah, but we're going to get some sort of answers there. I think we've probably done enough for what we can do for ourselves.
Okay, well, go ahead, Pericles, go ahead.
You explain to us now.
No,
He's going to read.
He's going to read it, he'll explain based on
Don't worry about it. I'm not here to practice my reading.
Alright. Ches.
Yeah.
Which is entitled, it's got a title here, Man's Action Results in God's Reaction. For example, Cherubim and Livelihood. Do you have that as a...
No, they don't have that.
Hine Rabbeinu Zichronon Lifracha Amaru Ba'inyan HaKeruvim. Now Chazal explained the arrangement of the Keruvim. Kitsad Hein Amadim.
Yes, this is the Gemara in Baba Basra. Kate said, how are they configured? Right? How are the Keruvim configured? Meaning, as we just learned in the previous parak, facing each other, facing opposite to other, maybe they're facing the other way, 100 degrees, 180 degrees, maybe 90 degrees.
Yeah, but we came to a simple understanding at different times based on what was done with Klal Yisrael.
Right.
The Keruvim were flexible.
Right.
And they were,
and as Roy said, that's a miracle, right? It's not like Lahavdil, Mount Rushmore.
The question that was brought up by the Rav was about how these granite statues in Washington D.C. How were they flexible? Or could they be flexible? And his boy said, "Shut it down. No comparison."
No comparison, of course.
At all. Thank you for shooting it down. Because I thought it wasn't the best illustration using a Goyisha, even though President Lincoln was a good guy. But why should we go to Goyisha sources for our comparisons?
Also, that's in the Greek tradition.
What?
Having these statues at all, to me, it's in the Greek.
Today it's
where it
Goyish.
comes from. It's totally from
Right.
Edlin, Greece and Edlin. Nothing to do with us here.
Right. Let's see what Rabbi Hussein will tell us.
So now Chazal explained the arrangement of the Churubim that Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar, and they have different views. Chad Amar Tanahem Ish El Achib. One of them saying that they faced each other. Chad Amar Tanahem Libya.
The bias
The base.
to the house.
And the other one saying that they faced to the house.
Which house is that?
That means they face
Eastwards towards the holy, from the Holy of Holies, which Yahweh presided. There's Shemot, a reference in Shemot, and Divrei HaYamim, a reference. So, Vachad Amar, and they have the base.
The bias.
The base.
Bias.
The base, eastwards towards the Holy, from the Holy of Holies, in which it presided. What's that? Is this, what's that mean?
What, you asking a question?
Yeah, what's that mean? That eastwards towards the Holy, from the Holy of Holies, in which Yahweh presided.
That's where they were. The Aron was located in the Kodesh Kadosh.
Yeah.
So where did they face?
But what's it mean towards the Holy?
Don't know. No, it doesn't say that. No one says anything about the holy here. That's the translator's error.
No, it's a note. All right, anyway.
There's no question, there's no conflict. That's right.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Ulamaim Da'amar Benayhim Ish El Achim HaKasiv Ufanayhim the base. According to the opinion that they faced each other, the verse says they faced a house. Lo Kashya Ka'an Bizman Yisrael Asein Ratana Shal Makom is not problematic as here, that is when they're facing each other. It relates in a time when Israel fulfilled God's will. And here, Shel Makom, Cain, Bizman, Sha'ain, Israel, Asin, Ratzonah, Shel Makom. And here, that is when they're facing the house, it relates to the time when Israel did not fulfill God's will.
So what we see, there's no stir, no contradiction, because why? When they're facing each other, that's when they're doing the will of HaKodesh Baruch Hu. And when Klal Yisrael is not doing the will of HaKodesh Baruch Hu, right? So then they are facing opposite, right? So there's no comparison between Mount Rushmore and the Lincoln Monument. Why? because there's no connection between the Lincoln Monument and God, and there's no connection between Mount Rushmore and God.
Just the pile of rocks.
Pile of rocks. Right? Mashain came in dissimilarly, oppositely. When you're talking about the Aron HaKodesh, it's a direct barometer of what Klal Yisrael is doing, and in turn, how HaKodesh Baruch Hu is relating to Klal Yisrael. Is he facing? Are we facing? If we're facing Hashem, is facing likewise to us. If we're facing away from Hashem, Hashem is, so to speak, facing away from us.
So that's what we alluded to earlier. It depends on the time and what the level of commitment Klal Yisrael had to Hashem. Ayin Rashbam.
You refer to Rashbam. Now I've got a long note here.
Okay. What's it dealing with?
In the original print editions, this reference to Rashbam was recorded as a reference to Rashi. The comment of Rashi on Baba Basra ended on page 29. The Rashbam continued Rashi's commentary from that point onwards until the end of the tractate. And the Rashbam's comments are as follows. And they faced each other. This is written in connection with the Churubim of Moshe. And they faced the house. This is written in connection with the Churubim of Shlomo in Divrei Hayamim, which writes, and they are standing on their feet facing the house, the sanctuary. The house is the sanctuary. And they are not like those of Moshe which were on the Kaporet, that is on top of the Holy Ark. But these were on the ground and made of olive wood and covered in gold, as written in Malachim. So there are two sets.
So that answers the question, because okay, I'm not sure. I'm not going to go into the. Let's see what we have. We'll leave the footnote by itself, and let's just see what we have inside.
Okay, continue with the footnote.
No, upstairs. Go back up to the main text.
Okay.
Ayin Rash.
Ulamain.
Yeah, correct. That's right.
Ulaman, the Amar Panehem, the base. According to the opinion that they face the house, HaKosiv Ufanehem Ish El Achiv. The verse which says they faced each other, teaches, Dim Sad Day, Atzdu Day, that their position was partially angled. Rakseh, Lama, Katsats, the base, Katsas, Zet, meaning partially facing the house and partially facing each other. So Ain Rashbam,
okay. I'll tell you what. What do you say? We have to stop now or what?
I don't know. Well, I mean, theoretically.
Theoretically, so maybe theoretically you should stop. Okay, we'll have to continue this next time.